Okay, a lot of people ask me how to draw various things. And for me, the only way to really start there is at the beginning. And for me, the thing that helped me really kind of understand drawing, over whatever I've been doing since I was a child, has been copying grandmasters' works and doing what they call planar studies and through use of cross contouring. So, this is obviously a two-dimensional image of a three-dimensional scene, and the way that they establish the dimensions is through establishing the various planes. So what that means is, I'm going to turn this to something brighter. So you have this part of his arm, which is very obviously on a different plane from, let's do this right, I guess. So you have this part of his arm, which is very obviously on a different plane, just to repeat myself, than this part of his arm, which you can see is the back plane is straight coming from there, and it curves around this way. So that's a different plane. And then, of course, you have the space in between here, which is yet again on a different plane from those. Then when you get to joints like this, they tend to be circles with everything essentially radiating out from there. And obviously, you get to some tricky places that seem to have kind of multiple planes. Dun, dun, dun. And then you have his rib cage, where the plane here is obviously coming from, let's put a little arrow, back that way, which means it's coming down and around here. So since it's over there, you wanted to make that circle. So you're creating the shape of exactly how all of these lovely planes come together. And then here again. And often when you get to the joints, as you can see, here's your plane here, which you can point the arrow backwards and see that the outside plane of his arm is down there, down and around, which is why we came here. Get rid of all that. But then when you get to this part, here's this plane here is very obviously coming from back there. That's where it's pointing. So since it's pointing there, and this is circular, well, you know what I mean, curved, it's coming around this way. And notice, before the joint, it was coming this way, and after the joint, it's coming this way. And that is very, very, very often the truth when you come to joints, and that's mostly because those parts are bent in some way, which means that they are therefore shifted, since this is is slightly further upstage than the forearm. It has its flat plane in the back pointing that direction. But while this is slightly more upstage, it has its flat plane in the back pointing the other direction because of the bend. So again, we come to the knee, and you can see the points radiating out from there, and the thigh, right here, you have the flat plane coming from that direction. So since it's coming from that direction, we're going to pull it around the thigh. Dun, dun, dun. These are cross contouring lines. So then we have this point of the calf, obviously where the plane is facing that direction. Since it's facing up that direction, we want it to come around this way. And then, of course, we have the bone right here. So now this is a plane that we can see. So you have this coming into here, but then this plane marks a dramatic shift, which shows that it switches to that direction. And then, of course, you have the bulge in his calf muscle here, and that is curving away from there. And likewise, you have this plane obviously pointing that way, which means you want this coming in and around. So that creates this curvature. Down and up, down and then the planes start to bend, start to blend. Because we've lost the calf muscle here, and this is where they'd start to join because of the circular joint. Some planars, if you want to do a simple planar study without the use of cross contouring, you would take, and this is slightly more difficult to show you, all of the planes that are obviously facing the same direction. So that would be, this is facing us ish. So I would make this is also facing a similar close to us direction. While these, I'm going to lower my transparency because these are on a different plane. Okay, so how does this make shape? Well, I take my lovely let's blur everything smudge tool. When I'm actually drawing, I do a lot of work in charcoal and pastels, and I actually use the oils from my fingers to blend them together and kind of make my own oil pastels, because I don't particularly enjoy working with oil pastels. Now here's the beauty of working in Procreate. I can also use the smudge tool as an eraser. And you can also undo anything that you do very easily without having to mess up the rest of your drawing. I forgot to erase that. So you can see as I smudge, I'm still keeping the directionality of the curves that I have made. I'm just blending them together. So that we don't have, the Michelin Man. So now if I remove the background image, you can actually see how what we did created some of the form. And of course I could do the whole thing, but that would take a whole lot longer than YouTube wants me to take. But there is a very short simplified explanation of how to create shape. Drawing 101. Oops. Let me fill that in while I try to end this recording. Bye, guys.